It is 9 a.m. on your Saturday. Thanks for joining us. And good morning, Kentuckiana. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Brooke Hashin for Gabe, and we have Reed Yaden out hitting the farmers market today. He was there during the 6 o'clock hour, but now things are really hustling and bustling in New Albany. Reed.
They certainly are. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Brooke. Good to have you along with us this morning. As always, we are on the road, powered by Thornton's, and look where we are. New Albany, farmers market here, downtown New Albany, open till noon today. It is jumping. Combo just started playing a little light jazz over here. What more could you want? We have a light breeze, and guess what today's going to be like? Let's go to Max 1 right now. We'll show you. You can probably already guess. Typical July weather around here today, except we're going to change a couple of things. One in particular. Today and tomorrow, we got a pretty good chance of picking up some scattered showers and thunderstorms. And I think the biggest threat, there's not a major severe weather threat, but the biggest threat with any of these thunderstorms would be some very gusty winds and heavy rains. We'll drill into that a little bit deeper in about 15 minutes. We're already in the 80s this morning in the city and around the viewing area. We stayed in the 80s overnight thanks to a south wind, keeping the dew points up and humidity up, and the discomfort factor will be fairly high today, not off the scale, but it is July and it's going to feel like it all day long. I think everything is in from the garden here. Tomatoes, cabbage, all types of greens. There's some green onions I see. We'll wander around through the crowd here, but they turn out for this farmer's market early and very, very heavy. Brooke, we'll see you again in about 15 minutes from right now. Time for you to bring us up to date on the stories we're covering on this Saturday morning.
All right, thanks so much, Reed. Well, you have had enough, and the governor has heard you loud and clear. The out-of-control wait times just to get your driver's license in Kentucky. Our Clary Shaley details the governor's rescue plan and if it's being felt yet at that Bowman Field office in Louisville.
Disorganized to me, it was just, you shouldn't have to wait in that long lines, and then you go inside and people waiting.
Long lines are no surprise for people visiting Louisville's driver's licensing offices.
There was people sitting on the bench, standing in line, and some of them were waiting in their cars.
As we reported in February, one man stood in line for 7 hours in the freezing cold. But now it's closing time at the Bowman Field location. Mostly empty, but Robert Guest still waits on his appointment. He's been waiting for over 30 minutes.
Still on number 6. It was 15, and now it's number 6, so I guess they'll get me in there eventually.
He keeps a close eye on his number as it moves up the line, only coming Friday to renew his license.
They need to have people that work with people who just want to get it renewed versus people who just trying to get the real ID, so they ought to have a separate line for them. That way it kind of will speed up the line.
Testing the system, the influx of people to the offices for IDs, the eye exam requirement, and state law change allowing 15-year-olds to get their permits.
We've got all of these pressures happening all at the same time. So very new regional offices with new people who've been trained suddenly have a lot more volume. But we don't believe in excuses.
The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and state police hold pop-up clinics. Hours have been extended since March. Bashir says those will continue. Staffing has increased by 125 workers for the 32 locations. A new line management system has been added along with vision screening machines at each desk.
I'm happy to share that they are making a difference. This problem is not fixed yet, but what we are seeing is improvement.
He says May set a new record of over 130,000 issuance. But back at Bowman Field,
No, not really. I mean, I haven't seen anything.
those changes are slow to show improvement.
When I was here today, people were complaining, and they want to see some improvements, but it's not happening.
Louisvillians remain hopeful for an essential government service. For WHAS 11, I'm Clarice Shaley on your side.
The governor says he is committed to making improvements and encourages people to go online and take advantage of that skip the line option if it applies to you. A man is dead after a shooting in Old Louisville, which police say occurred inside a well-known senior living tower. LMPD responded to the Hillebrand house on 3rd Street between Oak and Ormsby just before 2 o'clock yesterday. When they arrived, a property worker escorted them up to an apartment where they said they found a man dead from a gunshot wound. Metro Police said there are no suspects at this time, so if you have information, please call that anonymous tip line at 574 LMPD. And a reward is being offered for any information leading to the arrest of a man wanted for murder in Shively. Police there are still looking for LaBradford Ward, accused of killing 26-year-old Shantia Simmons and 22-year-old Amia Cox. Police said Ward drives a red 2021 Ford Mustang. To receive that reward, submit tips to Crime Stoppers at 502-582-CLUE.
He said he'd been shave their head and pull their teeth and hopefully do rest.
All new video from the Crystal Rogers trial. That's the shocking testimony the jury asked to hear again as they were deliberating the fate of chief murder suspect Brooks Houck. We were the first to show you video from inside that courtroom as both Houck and Joseph Lawson were found guilty in connection with Crystal Rogers' murder. It is the testimony from one of Houck's former employees, Charlie Girdley, sharing what he says he heard Joseph Lawson say about Rogers and her body. The defense now then, during a blistering cross-examination, attempted to show that jury that Girdley was unreliable, pointing to how many times he had changed his story about what he had heard from both Joseph and Steve Lawson to plot to kill Crystal. Now we have a legal analyst, attorney, and former prosecutor Nick Mudd, who early on was unsure about how the jury would take his testimony. But after watching it again, this was his reaction.
I'm not in the jury's mind, but I think it had to have struck a very, very deep chord with them. Number one, because the shock value of it, he was plain as day, matter of fact, here's what it is. And so it surprised me the amount of credibility he had in his demeanor when he presented that testimony.
The defense further attempted to attack Girdley's credibility, bringing Houck's sister, Rhonda McAvoy, into the stand, denying that they even had hogs on their farm, saying they only had these little pigs.
First, I thought, great move. Yeah, little bitty pigs. And I have a complete different reaction now. I think if you have any jurors with experience with raising pigs or hogs, well, here pigs though, like the picture, they certainly would probably attest to the fact that give those little piggies about an hour and something will be gone.
It is a theory many in Bardstown had speculated had what happened to Crystal's body. Mudd saying that theory could have likely connected with the jury most. We are also getting a look inside Steve Lawson's trial. Convicted in May of conspiracy to commit Crystal Rogers' murder. This video from inside the courtroom the day he took the stand in his own defense. Lawson admitted he lied to investigators throughout the investigation to protect his son, not Brooks Houck.
I will not deny that I did not do this to anybody. I did for a long time, because I didn't want to man up and take the blame for that. Yeah, I did not man up. There again. I can say it till I'm blue.
And you lied to protect Brooke House.
I didn't lie to protect no Brooke House in a day of my life.
By the time...
protect my son, but never no Brooke House.
Now, the judge banned TV cameras from that trial, but courtroom cameras did record everything. Those videos were released by the judge to us after those trials ended. And now, after finally getting justice with the 3 guilty verdicts, Crystal Rogers' mom, Sherry Ballard, is sharing her thoughts, especially with a specific message for the attorneys who defended Brooks Houck and the Lawsons. She said, and quote, "These lawyers saw the devastation on every victim's face in that courtroom and did not even blink an eye." She said, "I honestly hope they never have to search for their child like I've had to do for mine." She ended that lengthy post by saying, "God has sent many blessings my way, but the justice I finally got for my daughter was the biggest blessing of all."